My whole life, I always knew I was special. Even with no remainders, I could always move a decimal. Money on my mind while the girls that made un beso. Hustlers in my blood and it's running through my vessels. Just trying to clear the threshold, just trying to make a way. In my race against time, I could see an early grave. School to prison pipeline, 12 years a slave. Suspension and detention is conditioned for a cage.
The next topic we're going to discuss on Boxing Bros is who should David Benavidez fight next? And of course, because he's the leader of the Benavidez bandwagon, we're going to Conspiracy.
Canelo. You know what I'm saying? Easy. You know what I'm saying? Easy. I'm telling you, Benavidez, his speed, his combinations, you know, his the way he maintains distance, it's going to be ideal for Canelo. He's going to win. I'm telling you. It's going to be disgusting. You know what I mean? Or honestly, he can pick.
Define disgusting. Hold on, G. Go ahead. What's disgusting mean?
Listen, he'll knock out Canelo. I promise y'all that. I promise y'all that. He's gonna knock out Canelo.
Let the record reflect that G said in the first segment he was not gonna jump out the window. Let the record reflect.
All right. In the first segment, I honestly thought David Benavidez was fighting at 160 because he looked so in shape that I was like, this dude don't look like the typical David Benavidez. So I'm thinking that fight was at 160. When I found out it's at 168, I said, you know, this is perfect. Because David Lemieux, all right, this is going to be a stretch. However, it's still a decent enough comparison. David Lemieux, he has similarities to Canelo. They're both power hitters, you know. He always moves forward. Now, his defense isn't as great as a Canelo, but he has better legs than Canelo. So nonetheless, I'm just saying David Benavidez, he took this dude's strongest shots. He was no threat at all. I'm just saying, again, this is the same Lemieux that still gave Triple G some problems. I mean, not saying he wasn't close, but I'm saying Triple G had a hard time with this guy. David Benavidez just ran right through him. You know what I'm saying? So all I'm saying,
big fella.
I'm just saying,
big fella.
walk with me, man.
After a string of good weeks, G, where you were sounding like you knew about boxing, G. You come and you do this, G.
I'm just saying, have faith. I'm telling you. Yo, Canelo don't want no parts of Benavidez right now, son. I'm telling you right now. Caleb Plant don't want no parts. You know what I mean? Listen, Charlo don't want no parts right now. Yo, listen, I don't know who. I'm just saying, yo, David Benavidez, just take all the names, put it in the hat. Whatever you pull out, man, that should be your next fight. A lot of these guys, man, gonna have a hard time. Like, Caleb Plant has talked the spiciest out of all of them dudes. Caleb Plant ain't gonna take that fight. He gonna still say, oh, you still ain't got a belt. I only want to fight if you got a belt. That's just, to me, is just a fancy way of saying I'm a duck. You know what I'm saying? And all due respect to Caleb Plant, but that sounds like a duck to me because you ain't got no belt right now. So why not make a huge pay-per-view right now? He don't want those problems. I'm just saying, man. Listen, anybody at 168 is food for David Benavidez. Billy Joe Saunders, stay over there overseas. You don't want these problems over here. I'm just saying, this is my man's time to shine. I'm just being real. The only person I could think is going to give him a competitive fight right now would be Canelo. Triple G is at 160, right? If Triple G wants to move to 168, he fooled too for David Benavidez. I'm just saying, man. Oh, I'm lying. And Charlo would be a competitive fight also. That's going to be tough for me to pick. So I'm leaving Charlo out of this one. But Benavidez versus...
Nah, G, you said everyone's food. That means Charlo is food too.
Nah.
Yes, it does.
Everyone but Charlo is food. You know what I'm saying? And Canelo ain't food either. Charlo and Canelo, they in their own bracket. Everybody else, you're food, son. Fast food, too. Disrespectful. You know what I mean? Like, I'm just saying, man. Yo, David, you got options out here. None of these dudes want these problems. Munguia don't want these problems. Boo Boo don't want these problems. Triple G don't want these problems. Charlo don't want these problems.
So you're saying that Benavidez would steamroll Boo Boo too?
Yo, Boo Boo's tricky. But
what are you saying, G?
No, listen. I'm gonna say this, and I love Demetrius Andrade, but he gonna lose too. You know what I'm saying? Because, like, you're gonna have to engage with a dude like David Benavidez. David Benavidez just punches too hard. Like his punches is way stronger, and he has fast hands. Boo Boo may have good footwork, but it's like, well, we gonna just pop shot this dude into a victory? I doubt it. It's just not gonna happen. He's gonna have to engage with Benavidez, and once that happens, he's gonna get clipped, and then it's downhill from there. So I just don't see it, man. I don't know. Every guy at 160 and 168, I just don't see it. I'm like, only two that could give this dude comp is Charlo and Canelo. You know what I'm saying? And obviously, Canelo's not going to happen next. You know, man, Charlo's not even going to happen next. So I don't know, man. I'm just saying, man, my man's he's in a comfortable position. If I was all these promoters, I'm staying away from this kid because he's dangerous. And that's a fact.
All right, True Dollar
100.
Put him in there with the tulip. It's bad blood. You know what I'm saying? Let's get some money. You know, and that's how I feel. I think that'll be a big fight for them on that side, especially with the build up. I think the build up be good, especially with all the bad blood. But I agree with you, G. I think that he wins that fight. I just don't think homie's face holds up, and I've been saying that since a while ago, before he even fought Canelo. I said about Plant's face not holding up if he ever fought one of these guys, and it didn't hold up. You know,
Don't make those problems, man. I'm telling you, it's going duck. You know what I mean?
I think for a good fight with bad blood, with some good press, I think that would be a good fight to make. Will be with Plant and David Benavidez, but I do pick David Benavidez to pull through. Besides Canelo with a lot of experience, you know, David Benavidez says he'd like to test himself against a Canelo, but you know, he's okay with creating his own path and taking on these other challenges and letting Canelo do what Canelo got to do. And as far as cleaning up the 168, I believe that he could. The guys that's there now, because we got to remember, Charlo hasn't fought at 168 yet, so we don't know what he looks like. You know what I'm saying? So
True.
The guys at 168 right now, I would put David Benavidez as number one. But there is still some tough challenges out there, you know, that he could be, other than Canelo, excuse me. You know, Canelo number one at 170, but other than Canelo at 168, I would put him up there around like number one. But there is tough challenges out there like Boo. I think that would be a tough challenge for David Benavidez, because we're going to have to see something different. You know what I'm saying? Instead of walking towards a fighter, we're going to have to really see if he can really cut off the ring. You know, there's a lot of things have been a lot of gimmies for David Benavidez. You know, we get excited about these fights that he's supposed to win. You know, I haven't seen him in a fight that I had to pick against him.
But doesn't that same rule apply kind of with Boo Boo, right? Moving up to 168. You know, at 160, yeah, man, he was magical with the movement, but 168, he might be a little different, might be a little slower. And Benavidez
but the skill
just slap him real quick, something like.
But I think the skill level is still a little different. I think as far as with skills go, I think power, and the size of David Benavidez, because I still think Benavidez can campaign at 175 pounds if he wanted to, you know. But the size of him and the power of him, I think that would be a problem for Boo Boo. But other than that, you got to understand that Boo Boo is very skillful. He can mess around and make this a boring, ugly fight for 12 rounds. With the jab and hold, and you know what I'm saying? He can make it. I done seen him fight different styles. You know, I want to see if David Benavidez can adapt to these different styles and do a different style himself. You know, instead of to come forward, landing these hard, sharp type of fights. You know, so yeah, this David Benavidez. I will agree with you. To me, I think he is, and he gives all these guys a problem at 168. I don't think nobody from 160 is going to jump up right directly and go after somebody like a David Benavidez. I think that they would be crazy too, you know. But yeah, David Benavidez, I think the fight with him and Caleb Plant, I think that would be a good fight. I think the trash talking between the two will be epic, you know. And I think people put it somewhere neutral. Put it somewhere neutral where people from Phoenix can go to, and Caleb Plant. Where Caleb? He's from
Arizona, right?
He's from Nashville.
He's from Nashville, right?
Oh, Plant's from
Okay, so we can find somewhere like the have
not Nashville. My bad.
so that both crowds can come through and do
Nah,
something.
David, go to his hometown. Go to Nashville and spank him. That's what we need to see. I'm telling you, man. Yo, you gotta go over there and take the fans, bro. Watch. You know what I mean?
No, I hear you. G definitely went a little overboard. I hear what you're saying, Trill. But my only knock against that is Caleb Plant is coming off of his loss to Canelo. So if Benavidez was to stop him now, everyone's gonna be like, "Oh, you did it at the Canelo." So I feel like Caleb Plant needs to show he's still good. He's still, he's still the Caleb Plant of old with another fight before he immediately goes into the Benavidez fight. And I think that's for his own psyche because, like, I've seen things, let's just say, where I want to make sure Caleb Plant is still Caleb Plant and he's still the guy whose heart is in boxing. Whereas you have Demetrius Andrade and you have Jamal Charlo, two really good fighters, and Jamal Charlo is fighting soon next month, and then he'll be available. And then you have Demetrius Andrade. Now you bring up a good point. This is going to be their first fight at 168. Probably not wise to do it against David Benavidez, but I think he would get more credit for beating one of those guys than beating a Caleb Plant. But at the same time, if he can't get one of those guys, who can he fight at 160? I really don't know. It's kind of like, I think for Benavidez, not his next fight, but the fight after, where we're going to find out the most about David Benavidez. But maybe Andrade would take the fight immediately coming up. Here's what I would say about Benavidez to you, Chi, and why I would tell you to pump the brakes. Anthony Durrell took rounds from Benavidez when he wasn't even in his prime, with movement, utilizing good boxing. And if he can do it, Boo Boo can do it. If he can do it, Charlo can do it. The thing was that Benavidez was able to get to him late. And when Benavidez got to him, Benavidez was able to stop him. That's the issue. I see Boo Boo and Charlo being able to take rounds from Benavidez. The question is, can you avoid that onslaught for 12 rounds? That's the real question. I don't think he's unbeatable.
My response would be this. That Benavidez was 20 years old. This Benavidez is 25, 26 or whatever. So my man's now seasoned in this. You know what I'm saying? So he understands boxing more. He understands the sweet science. Dudes ain't just gonna just roll on him like that. You know what I mean? Like Boo Boo not gonna do that, bro. You know what I mean? So, and again, Boo Boo's my man's. I love him.
Every time you say somebody's your man, you ain't saying that good about
first stand up. He's my man's. But yo, man, listen, David's just a different type of animal, son. I don't know. Yo, and it's you see it in the fights. Like something happens when that bell rings, he just locks in. I don't know, man. He's focused now, man. I think back then when Durrell was giving him that work, he was probably nervous, man. He was young and experienced. He ain't the same David Benavidez, man. I'm telling you, man.
And my response to that would be, yeah, he may have been 20, but Durrell was 157 years old at the time. So it wasn't like he was fighting a young fighter in their prime. So although you're highlighting the fact that Benavidez was younger, his opponent was old. Now you take these young, fresh guys like Boo Boo, Demetrius Andrade. Demetrius Andrade not only has skill, but he has power. Let's not forget, Demetrius Andrade has made a living off of dropping people early and just not finishing them.
Hold on, remember, power in the first 3 rounds.
But my point is, he's dangerous, and he lands the shot. Now, here's the thing I've never seen David Benavidez in the ring with. A guy like Demetrius Andrade who can get you off balance and hit you with a shot you don't see coming.
That is true.
Now, let's see how he deals with that. Because he's been able to throw his onslaught of punches and not worry about getting hit back because these guys didn't have the ability to slip, get out the way, and counter. But with Andrade, he's gonna pay for mistakes. See, You can make a lot of mistakes. You can throw a lot of punches when you're not getting return fire, or the person has the inability to make you pay. But Demetrius Andrade's a different ball game. So is Jamal Charlo. And they're also not, toward the tail end of their career. I don't want to keep messing with my man Anthony Durrell because I like him. But the point is, he is no Demetrius Andrade. He is no Jamal Charlo. And even in his peak, even at his prime, he was never them. And that old 40-year-old still took rounds from a young 20-year-old Benavidez. Now, I'll give you this. He is probably better. He probably is sharper. But that Anthony Durrell that he beat when he was 20 is still better than the David Lemieux that he beat last night. He could fight Anthony Durrell today. He couldn't do what he did to Lemieux to Anthony Durrell today.
You don't know that.
I know that. You think he stops Anthony Durrell in 2 rounds today? The dog? I don't think so. He'd win. He might still stop him, but in 2 rounds, G, you telling me Benavidez will stop Anthony Durrell in 2 rounds?
Yo, next segment.
That's what I'm saying, G. Yo, stop jumping out the window, G. I know you like Benavidez.
All right. I forced it with that one. But I'm gonna say this: Benavidez will eat an Andrade punch to the face, bro. He'll eat it like the referee ate that shot last night. I'm not worried about David's chin. You know what I mean? Like, I'm pretty sure even in the shot, and I will say Boo Boo's good at hitting dudes with shots they don't see coming. But David's sturdy enough to just take that shot. So I'm not necessarily worried with Boo Boo. And Boo Boo, yeah, he does great when he's fighting like no-namers. You know what I mean? Yeah, they get dropped, but them no-namers keep getting back up. So I'm thinking David Benavidez is way more sturdier than those dudes that he's been fighting. And
is that not the pot calling a kettle black?
No, hold on. Walk with me. Just walk with me. David Benavidez is more active. David Benavidez at least gets at least 2 to 3 fights a year. Boo Boo fights once a year, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, the inactivity gotta catch up to you sometimes. Like, it doesn't even make sense for Boo Boo.
Or preserving his legs and keeping them fresher.
Or Boo Boo's living a clean lifestyle, though.
What that mean? My man been clean, son. He the passion.
I'm not taking shots at him. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying Boo Boo's not drinking. Boo Boo's not smoking. Boo Boo's not, abusing his body in any way. Boo Boo's in shape all year round.
Man, how you know? Boo Boo.
Well, here's what I do know, because I never seen him with a gut. Because I never seen him with a gut. G, by your own admission, you just said, hold on, G. By your own admission, you just said this the best shape you saw Benavidez in. He usually got like a little gut or whatever. That's what you just said.
Hey, man. Listen,
no one's ever said that about Demetrius Andrade. That's how I know.
Snack. You always been down with snack.
Benavidez, yeah, he did come in there with the snack cap on. He ain't pop belly.
Your man's with the snack. Your man's on snacks. Okay.
Okay. He ain't pop belly Benavidez no more.
That's what I'm saying. Think about it.
I ain't got nothing else to say about this, Chill. Take us out.
Let us know how you feel in the comment section. Please like and subscribe. Check us out on Instagram and Twitter. And please check out our podcast on all major streaming services. We are the Boxing Bros.
He went to the Eiffel Tower and jumped out the window. The Eiffel.
Oh.